Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the Johns Hopkins School of Education and our special education programs. My name is Andrew Goolsby Cole, and I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Also presenting tonight is Professor and Program Lead for our special education programs, Dr. Lori DeBetancourt. I want to get started with a brief overview of the School of Education. We are one of 9 schools at the Johns Hopkins University. We began as the College Courses for Teachers in 1909, and after many iterations, we became our own school and were named the Johns Hopkins School of Education in 2007. So we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year, which is very exciting. School enrolls approximately 2,600 students that take classes at our locations in Baltimore and Columbia, Maryland, or online. We are accredited by NCATE and CACREP, and all programs that lead to licensure are approved by the Maryland State Department of Education. School of Education is well acclaimed. We are consistently ranked one of the top schools of education by the U.S. News & World Report's ranking of top graduate schools of education. We were also recently ranked 15th in the world by the 2018 Times Higher Education World University Rankings, which is pretty amazing. We have approximately 130 faculty members. Students here come from diverse professional backgrounds. They could be pursuing a career change. Some are recent college graduates, while others are experienced educators and counselors looking for professional growth and development. About 74% of our students are women, and the remaining 26% are men. The overall average age for students here in the School of Education is 29. So now that you're all acquainted with the Johns Hopkins School of Education, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. DeBetancourt.
Hi, everyone. As Andrew said, I'm Dr. DeBetancourt, and I am the program lead, but there's several other people who help make this program work. We have Dr. Tamara Martyr, who has a background in ABA and is the program coordinator for our severe program as well as our autism program and our ABA program. We'll talk about that later in the presentation. Dr. Linda Santos is also here as a faculty member in the area of early childhood disabilities. And we have our assistant, Camilla Mika Sims, who helps keep all of us in line and will answer many of your questions. The Master's of Science in Special Education degree that we offer is really ideal for individuals who are seeking initial teacher certification and they really want to work in the field of special education. Or if you already have your teaching certification in special education and you want to get advanced skills so that you can really work with those students in grades either 1 through 8, which is elementary middle focus, or grades 6 through 12, which is our secondary adult focus, or even in the preschool settings, which is our early childhood settings. We also have people who are already certified in special education who just want to earn a master's degree. So we have a little bit of everything for people who want to know more about special education. We also have different ways to take the courses. You can either do an accelerated option, which allows you to get the master's in 15 months. You'll get a degree in mild moderate disabilities, particularly in mild moderate disabilities. It's a generic special ed certification. You'll choose whether you want elementary or secondary concentration, and that means a couple of courses are a bit different. It's a prescribed sequence where you start in the summer and you finish up the following summer. So you'll go to classes summer, fall, spring, and the following summer you'll finish up. We also have your own pace option, and this means that you take the courses needed for either the early childhood master's, the severe master's, or the mild moderate disabilities master's degree option, and you can either take it a master's with or without the certification piece to it, and you have up to 5 years to complete that. Some people take that option if they have to think about their own children's schedules or their husbands' or their wives' schedules, or they may have a limited financial plan where they think that they can only afford taking so many courses a year, or the school district in which they work for provides tuition support for only up to 9 credits a year. So they might want to only take 9 credits that year. We also have a partnership that we've had for 23 years with Montgomery County Public Schools. And this is a very prescribed 2 years of coursework at night. And during the day, the students that are in that program work as paraeducators in Montgomery County Public Schools. So if you're a current para in Montgomery County, this is perfect for you. And if you're not a current para, but you want to be employed in Montgomery County Public Schools as a para, and then 2 years later, be able to work as a special education teacher, this would be a perfect opportunity for you. The courses start in the summer, and you go summer, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring. So it's 6 semesters. We accept applications in the spring of every year. So let's look at the accelerated program in more detail. There's some very innovative courses. We have a couple online. We have the rest of them are face-to-face. It's a 15-month, as I said, summer, fall, spring, summer, fall, summer, fall, spring, summer. It's 4 semesters. There's 39 credits, 13 courses, 2 are internships. The internships, we will place you during the spring and the fall semester in schools, public and private, in the Baltimore, Maryland region. We do offer financial support, and there are also scholarships available. It is a cohort model, so many of the students who are in the program partner up with someone. Either some people move here and live together, some people who live here already and have families don't do that, but they do partner with someone when they go into the internship, and they enjoy doing it together. The highlights are that you finish in 4 semesters. The next application is due April 1, 2018, and they'll begin in the summer of 18. You're placed in urban school environments that are chosen by the faculty in conjunction with the students' wants and needs. So if you live in Bethesda, we try to find a program that's close to you. We don't want you spending hours driving around the Beltway to find a placement. They're 10 weeks each. So during those 10 weeks, you go in every day and work with a teacher in the school and take over some of the teaching responsibilities. It is a MSDE approved program, which means on your transcript when you finish, it says you have completed MSDE approved program for certification in generic special education. And again, you can choose whether you want elementary or secondary focus. What's nice about the internships is that you really learn to apply a lot of the techniques that we're teaching you during the face-to-face content-based courses, and you have people supervising you and advocating for you and providing support. You don't need an education undergraduate degree to apply. So at your own pace, again, whether you're an experienced special education teacher or you're just someone who's interested in becoming a special education teacher, and getting the certification, or even an administrator. We've had administrators who want to understand students with special needs. You can get this master's at your own pace, and you can take the courses a couple of semester. We offer them in the evening so that you can keep your job during the day. It has the certification option that in 3 different areas. You can either be certified in general special ed with a focus of early childhood disabilities, mild to moderate disabilities, or the severe disabilities. The Montgomery County Partnership option, to give you more detail on that, we call it the SEDIT program, Special Education Teachers Immersion in Training. And many of these students and applicants, again, are paraeducators already, or they might even be substitutes who want to be paras in Montgomery County. They are employed, or they will be employed once they get accepted into the program. They're allowed by being in this program to do their internship during their current employment and at their current employment site. The nice thing about that is that they don't have to take leave of absence from their employment to do the internship experience. They do receive a educator salary and full benefits with Montgomery County, and Montgomery County provides some tuition reimbursement during the 2 years of study because you're part of this program. Most teachers in Montgomery County get some tuition reimbursement, but if you're part of the SEDIT program, you can get all of the courses partially reimbursed. After you complete the course, you submit a form to Montgomery County, and they will provide you with the financial reimbursement. Again, our next deadline for this will be February 1, 2018, and the way that the interviews are conducted with Montgomery County is that it's faculty from the School of Education as well as staff from Montgomery County who participate. They might be an assistant principal, or they might be someone from the HR, or they might be someone from the Montgomery County Partnership Office, and they participate in asking questions. They want to make sure that the applicants are a good fit for their school. So the mild moderate disabilities focus is where we really look at several different things and prepare you for working with kids really that are in the public school, served in general education classrooms, or maybe even pulled out into a resource room or self-contained classroom. We look at how the law and the special education intersect and what your legal responsibilities are as a teacher. We'll also look at the assessment tools that you need to use to either formally or informally measure and monitor your students' success. We also talk about instructional programming, using evidence-based practices across all the different content areas. And I think one of the real selling points of our program is that you will have a specific spoken and written language course as well as a math methods course. That's not true in all master's programs in special education. We also offer 2 courses in managing behavior. Most people know that many teachers struggle with behavior management, and if you can't have the behaviors under control, it's really hard to provide really good instruction. So you'll get 2 courses in behavior, understanding how to control behavior. One is looking at behavior analysis and positive behavioral supports, and then classroom behavior and how to manage those challenging behaviors of students that you might come in contact with. We also talk about collaborative practices. Many people now know that special ed students are served in the general education class. So you're going to need to learn how to work collaboratively with many other teachers, general, para-educators, community members, parents, as well as many itinerant teachers who might come in and serve your students. We also are very strong in our program, making sure that you demonstrate when you finish ethical behavior with individuals as well as reflective practices. Research has shown that teachers who reflect on how well they teach do a better job. So we will teach you how to reflect. The early childhood focus is really interesting in that you'll do 2 internships. One internship you'll do with infants and working in the home, and one internship you'll do with more the preschool age children, or the children in kindergarten, first and second. And you'll learn about all the different types of specialized supports that are in place at a very young age so that we can affect this child's outcome and possibly even get them to where they'll be functioning independently in a general education classroom later in their career. You'll learn how to communicate and collaborate effectively, not only with families and other educational professionals, but many community partners that come into a child's life if they are significantly impaired at a young age. And you'll learn how to implement evidence-based practices to support these young students that are in such need of special education. The severe disabilities focus, this master's really prepares you to work with students who are complicated and they have many different needs, and many of these kids are identified at the elementary age, but some are identified at birth, and they require specialized instruction and intensive supports in areas of independent living, adaptive behavior, as well as many students who have been identified on the autism spectrum. We know that many kids today, there's an increasing number of children identified on the autism spectrum. And so this would be a focus that would be a good one to study if you were interested in working with those kids in particular. Again, we look at the legal and philosophical issues that are inherent in working with students with severe and complicated disabilities. We talk about effectively planning for instruction and getting them ready for independent life after they age out of the IDEA laws. We utilize a lot of applied behavioral programming to increase appropriate behavior and decrease inappropriate behavior. We talk to you about understanding and addressing maybe many of the medical and physical aspects of students with severe disabilities. And this might include augmentative communication, as well as managing motor, hearing, vision, and other sensory issues with your students. And we talk a great deal about communicating effectively with other professionals, because many kids that have a great deal of complications in their life tend to have many people involved in supporting them. So you'll learn how to manage and communicate with all of those individuals so that the students learn how to be successful in the community and become as independent as they can. We also have, so that section of the webinar about the master's program, but we also have several areas where you can come in and take 5 or 6 courses of advanced study on certain topics, and we call them certificates. It's a little different than certification, but it does provide you with a area of study, and I think a very strong area of study in these 4 areas. We have differentiated instruction and inclusion. Many people who come in and take that certificate are general educators who want to understand how to differentiate their instruction and meet the needs of all the kids that are in their class that may have IEPs or have specific needs that are identified through the law. And also just to provide really good instruction for their kids that are in the general education programs. We also have an applied behavior analysis program. This is at the postmaster's level. Many school districts now are looking for individuals who have an ABA because of the increased numbers of kids with behavioral challenges, as well as the increased numbers of kids identified with autism, as well as many children who have mental health issues. This might be the perfect program and certificate for you to get if any of those areas interest you, because you'll learn how to look at the data, collect data, look at the data, and make decisions in terms of changing behaviors, either increasing good academic behaviors or decreasing some of the behavioral challenges that are providing, not allowing the child to take advantage of the instruction of the teacher. And again, this is an area that school districts are looking for. So it is an area that, in terms of job opportunities, there are a great number of job opportunities out there for people with an ABA. We also have an early intervention preschool specialist certificate. Again, if you're interested in working at this level and you know that many of the preschools in the area serve kids that have specific needs and they either are identified as in need of special ed or they should be identified as in need of special ed, this might be a really good certificate for you to take. And then we have the autism certificate. There are larger numbers, as I said, that are being identified on the autism spectrum. And this particular certificate is 5 courses, and you'll learn how to work with those kids that do get identified in the schools with autism. We also are moving to get that particular certificate moved to a totally online format, and we should know more about that beginning summer of 18. So keep looking at our website. We'll announce it as soon as it's finally approved. So here's a little bit more detail about the differentiated instruction certificate. It's 15 credits. It's designed, again, for educators who are challenged by the students in their classroom who have a lot of different learning backgrounds and needs. It provides some particular methods on differentiating the instruction. It also talks about how to measure students maybe in different ways progress monitor them and measure them without using formal testing. And we talk about many different kids: at risk, gifted, bilingual, kids with multiple languages in their background, as well as mental health challenges. Again, the applied behavior analysis, we have a 1 year, every year we take applications. It's a cohort model. The next deadline is April 1. It is very specific so that when you finish this certificate, you will be able to sit for the exam and get your BCBA. And Dr. Martyr is the best source to get more information on this particular certificate, as she does have her BCBA. Again, the early intervention preschool special education specialists, it's for students who might already be certified in preschool primary education, but they want to know more details about what to do with those kids that are in their preschool that have disabilities and need some real specialized instruction. And you need to implement the instruction in a certain way so that you can get those kids engaged in some of your activities. Again, the autism one, we're planning to move all of these courses online beginning summer of 18. This is an area that is fast developing in terms of the number of students that are being served under this header. And it is not 18 credits, but it is 15 credits in the new online program. It was 18 when it was face-to-face, and we're moving it to a 15 credit. So this is an example of if you were to come into our program and try and finish in a very short period of time. You might take these three courses first. The legal issues is online, and the classroom management would be face-to-face, and the access is online. That might be your first summer. The fall semester, you would take instructional planning and management, where you would learn how to do IEPs and develop your lesson plans. You would take characteristics, where you would learn about who the children are that are identified by law as to be served with special needs. Kids with learning disabilities, emotional behaviors, intellectual disabilities, autism, Fragile X. You would learn all about the different types of students that by law should be identified and have an individualized educational program. And then you might complete your first internship. In the spring semester, you would take the assessment course, where you would learn about the Woodcock-Johnson test and other individualized tests, as well as group testing that's done for kids with disabilities so that you can monitor them, as well as some of the testing that's done at the state and local level. You might take also the spoken and written language course, where we talk about how to work with kids in these areas, and specifically some evidence-based strategies that have been developed in the field to improve kids' writing and their written language. Then you might finish up with your last internship. We call it the culmination internship. And then you would do the applied behavioral programming. This is where you would learn how to collect data and make decisions based on the data that you collect. In every single class that you teach, you should be collecting multiple data. A lot of times teachers have difficulty with that because you need about 10 hands and you might not have 10 hands. So we'll teach you how to do it so that it is possible to do with only 2. Then you'll finish up the summer with a math course. Again, not many programs offer a math methods course, and yet there's a lot of kids that struggle learning how to do the math, because for them it's like a foreign language. And then you'll learn collaborative programming and working with all the other paraprofessionals, as well as the itinerants that might come into your class, parents, the kids themselves. You want to teach them to be advocates for their own destiny. So we'll teach all of that during the collaborative programming. And many teachers are co-teaching now in general education classrooms, and we'll talk about that as well in that course. The internships experiences here at Hopkins are a bit different than in other places. And I think some of the things that make them special are that you have 3 people working for you to help you be successful. You'll have a university supervisor who we've hired that is typically a former special education teacher or administrator. And that person will go out to observe you 3 or 4 times during your 10-week experience and really advocate for you in terms of helping you understand some of the things that you did well and some things that you could change to be even a better teacher. We also have mentor teachers hired, and they are people that are in the school every day working alongside you and providing you with support and suggestions on how to implement maybe a lesson a little bit better, or maybe they know the kids better than you do and they can provide some support and understanding what those child's needs are emotionally as well as academically. And then you have an internship instructor, and the internship instructor visits the school regularly, talks to the university supervisors, talks to the mentor teachers, and also runs a weekly seminar where you come together as a group and we talk about what's going on in the internship and complete some activities that you do to think about your professional goals and your reflective teaching. So the combination of all three is pretty unique, as well as the fact that you'll do 2 internship experiences over 10 weeks in 2 different semesters. It comes out to about 150 or more supervised hours in each placement. Our courses are offered in the evenings from 4:15 to 6:45 or 6:45 to 9:15. Many of our students might come one night a week and pick up 2 courses. We have a little cafe if you need coffee between in the building. It is located in Columbia, which for many of our students who come from all over Maryland is pretty centrally located and easy to access with free parking. People like that. In the summer, the semester is shorter. It's about half as long. Our fall and spring semesters are 15 weeks long. Our summer courses are usually about 7 weeks long. So you come 2 nights a week for a course. And the internships, if they are during the fall, run for 10 of the 15 weeks. Same thing for the spring semesters. If the internships are run during the summer, they're typically the month of July. It depends on the private settings in which the internship placement is located, but many of our internship summer placements are completed in schools that run somewhere where beginning in late June through July and finishing up the first week in August. So in addition to completing all the coursework, we have a couple other milestones, and we use these to kind of guide your progress. We have at entry, you complete the Praxis 1 core exam, which is a reading, math, and written language, or you could take one of the equivalents that is listed on the MSDE website as well as on our admissions website, which might be the GRE, the ACT, or the SAT. Then at midpoint through or almost midpoint through, you'll take the Praxis 2 in special education. Most of our students, if not 100%, have little trouble passing that once they've taken about 9 credits. Then you'll take the comprehensive exam, and the comprehensive exam is a 3-hour written exam that you take one evening in the fall or the spring. It's 1 question is answered per hour. You're given a choice each hour, so you'll be given 6 questions. You'll finish 3, and typically they are about the content courses that you've taken. Then the graduate project is our final program milestone aspect that you have to complete, and that is done in a way for you to show us how you can apply the content that you've learned by picking a project of your choice. You have about 6 different types of projects you can do. Many of them are where students in our program pick a child that they're working with. They design an intervention for that child to do, and then you collect data on how well the child improves during the time in which the intervention is implemented, and then you present it to a group of your peers and faculty, and we celebrate the success of your project. So the application deadlines are for this coming year are the SEDIT one, which is our Montgomery County partnership, is February 1. Sometimes we do extend that, so if you're close to being done with your application and you're not sure you're going to make it, please contact us. And then the ABA application deadline is April 1st. All the other applications, if you want to come to our program part-time or you're not sure, let us know, but we do have rolling admissions as well. Our admission requirements, we have an application which is online. We always tell people get that started, then we can help you through it because you'll get logged on to our website and we can watch you and see what problems or what pieces are still missing, and we can help support you in finding out how to get those pieces completed. The application fee is submitted when you submit that application. Then you want to submit a resume. The disposition survey is online. It's a couple questions that you have to fill in. And then 2 letters of recommendation. We recommend that you look for people who know something about your work with kids. And if you haven't done any teaching with kids, some people do some volunteering with kids, or they might do some scout work, or you might have a church group that you're working with. Get someone who knows about those experiences and submits a recommendation. If you are working in a school, we recommend that you get something from a principal or a department chair. Then you want to write an essay, and basically in that essay you want to talk about what your goals are and why this degree will match those goals. What we look for when we read an admission application is we want to make sure that our program matches your goals. So if you can clearly state them, that makes it easier for us to determine if it is a good match, because we want you to be successful. Then you ask anywhere that you've gone to school for any type of post-secondary instruction. You contact them and have them send the transcript to Johns Hopkins School of Education. And then the Praxis or SAT or GRE or ACT, whichever score you have, send that in as well.
Okay, this is Andrew again. I'm just going to jump in here and go over some of the information for our international students. So if you are an international student interested in our programs, there are a few additional steps that you'll need to take when applying to the School of Education. You must submit TOEFL or IELTS scores or a TOEFL waiver request form, which you can find on our website. If your degree was completed outside of the United States, you will need to submit a course-by-course evaluation in lieu of transcripts. Also, please note that we do not offer I-20s for part-time study, graduate certificate programs, or online programs. You can contact the Office of International Services for additional information about that. Okay. For the current tuition is $755 per credit for part-time study. So if you are enrolled in one 3-credit course, it will cost $2,265 for that course. With the current full-time tuition being $1,000 per credit, the Accelerated Master of Science in Special Education with a concentration in mild to moderate disabilities will be about $39,000. It should be noted that these are the current tuition rates and that they will likely increase each year, and we encourage you to review the full tuition and fees page on our website for the most up-to-date information about tuition and fees, and so that you can understand the complete picture of the costs associated with becoming a student here at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. If you're interested in applying for financial aid, we do strongly encourage that you begin the financial aid application process at the same time that you're applying for admission to the program. Please note the priority financial aid application deadlines listed on this slide. Please visit the financial aid website for specific information regarding the financial aid application process. You'll also find contact information for the Office of Financial Aid and details on loans and grants, scholarships, etc., that are available. There's also a link right here on the slide that you can refer to.
I want to also mention, this is Lori de Betancourt again, that we do have several endowment funds that are specifically assigned to our special education program. So please, please apply for financial aid and fill out the FAFSA form, because we, many of those endowments are tied to need. And so if you have the FAFSA and the scholarship money is there, we want to give it away. So please apply.
Great, thank you. Okay, so if you are interested in getting in contact with admissions, you can reach us at the information listed here on the slide. We are located at our Columbia, Maryland location. This is also the address that you would use to mail any supporting documents like transcripts or recommendation letters if they are being sent through the mail. And on this slide here, you'll find the contact information for Dr. de Betancourt and also Camilla Mika-Sims, the program coordinator. So please feel free to reach out to any of us with your questions. That concludes the presentation for the evening. Dr. de Betancourt and I will now open it up to any questions that you may have. Okay, it looks like we do have a question. It says, I am not clear on the admissions requirements for the full-time versus part-time MS special education programs. Do I need to take the GRE, Praxis, ACT, or SAT? And so to answer that question, it really depends on the program. The full-time, excuse me, master's program will require the GRE. However, the part-time programs, any of those exams will fulfill the requirement. Oh, there's another question. What do JHU special education graduates go on to do? I'm going to pass that off to Dr. de Betancourt.
That's a great question. A lot of our teachers, a lot of our graduates end up teaching. I would say 100% of our students end up with jobs. In fact, I was talking to one of our students last night, and she's already been offered to start her job now, and she doesn't finish up till the summer. So many of them end up in special education schools, private and public, as teachers. Some of them go on to be administrators and department chairs, and some go on to specialized schools like Kennedy Krieger, and do research as well as teaching. There's another question here. What are the research specialization backgrounds of the special education faculty? And that's a really good question. I can speak to my background first. I got my degree in the area of learning disabilities, mental retardation, and emotional disabilities. So I have all three areas in my background in terms of study. And most of my research now is on training special educators, and on looking particularly at what types of training special education teachers need to work with kids that come from different cultural backgrounds and have English as a second language. I'm also planning on doing a Fulbright Scholar in the spring, where I will be working with teachers in Budapest, Hungary. My other background is I serve as editor for a journal that is a journal for special education professors across the country and internationally, and have written several articles in that area as well, as in terms of how do we prepare the next generation of higher education faculty who will teach teachers how to work in the field of special education. Dr. Martyr, our other faculty member, comes from a clinical psychology background and has been trained at the doctoral level to teach ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, and she runs our severe program. She has worked with the severe population for over 10 years, and she also has developed she's an affiliated faculty member with the School of Public Health, in particular in the area of autism, because that's another specialty area for her. And she has written several articles in that area as well, looking at what are the evidence-based practices that are particularly successful with kids on the autism spectrum. Dr. Linda Santos has a background in early childhood and also technology, and she has been working here at Hopkins for probably 15 years in the area of early childhood special education.
Okay, well, it looks like there are no more questions, so we will be ending this presentation. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We hope you found it helpful and informative. If you do have any questions in the future, please do not hesitate to reach out to us anytime. We're more than happy to help. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope you have a good evening.